What is going on YouTube? 0088 here, and I'm with my fiance Carla, and we are reviewing Dune Part 2.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
It's been a while since I said we were reviewing anything.
Oh my god, it really has.
Yeah, because we haven't been to the cinema really to watch anything new to review. And why is that? Because movies have been sucking lately, because Hollywood is just trash these days. There's nothing really been good coming out, nothing really worthy since like Oppenheimer, which is cleaning the Oscars right now.
Is that
That just
that's
goes to
the
show-
last thing we reviewed, right?
That's the last thing we reviewed, Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Okay.
And we only reviewed Barbie because of Barbenheimer meme and all that
Yeah.
shit. But now we're reviewing Dune 2 because something good has finally come out in the cinema. And wow, was
Did
it
we
good?
review the first one together?
I reviewed it on my own.
Okay.
But yeah, Dune 2, wow, this is what movies should be. This is cinema right here. And yeah, all I can say is straight away, if you don't want to see the rest of it, I loved it. It was incredible. Like, what did you think of it?
I really loved it, yeah. It didn't give me the same feeling as the first one,
Yeah,
but I really loved it. I thought it was a great movie, and it's not my genre.
yeah.
I hate science fiction. I try not to, but I just can't get my head in
Yeah,
it.
and for that to, I
So
think
for
it's so
me to
grounded
love
as well.
something like that, it must be really, really
I think
good.
it's because it's so grounded. That's why you can like get into it, you know. But yeah,
I
like,
loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
and I loved the first film. I had some gripes with the first film in terms. It's like I knew it was very arty and the visuals were amazing. A lot of people found the first film quite boring. Some people because it was so like long, drawn out shots and there wasn't much action. It was a lot of setup, but like. Part 2 is literally like just paid off all the setup from part 1.
Definitely more story.
Yeah, more
sure.
story, and because it had the mixture of story and the visuals, the amazing Denis Villeneuve visuals that are just out of this world, mashed that together. For me, it just made it even more like a full package, just incredible film. It felt like watching some of those old 1970s epics like Lawrence of Arabia or something like that. Those old classics where what films used to feel like, you know, the music, the acting, the shots. It just felt like, especially when you're watching IMAX. I don't know if it's just the IMAX.
Oh, watching it in IMAX was just incredible.
Yeah.
It's definitely a film to watch in the cinema.
Yeah,
It's
for
definitely
sure.
a cinema. I have like films which are cinema films and
Yeah.
home films, and this one I think if you watch it at home, unless you've got like a really sick
Yeah.
setup, you're not going to
You're
get
not
that
going to get the
experience.
full experience.
Yeah.
You're still going to be
I
an
mean,
amazing
it
film.
doesn't necessarily have to be IMAX,
Yeah.
but at least see it in
You
the
need
cinema
to see it in
for
the
sure.
theatre. Like, our chairs were literally shaking. Like,
I know,
rumbling.
right? I felt like we were about to take off. At
Yeah,
one point.
that wasn't
My
even
chair was like
4DX.
going so fast. I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
Yeah.
IMAX
Great,
made
great
it, I
experience
think.
with
Yeah.
the sound, everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's get into the story and the characters and everything. So, what did you think of Timothy Chalamet as Paul?
It's not Timothy Chalamet.
What? Timothy Chalamet, the god. That's what we're
Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
But
really
I think it's
surprising.
much better than he was in the first
I
film.
think we spoke about this before. You said in Wonka he was really good, and
Mm.
obviously there's been time between the first film and then Wonka, so he's obviously growing
Yeah,
as an actor, right?
But no, I'm
He's
not
obviously
sure if
getting
he's. I
better.
don't know when they filmed part 2. I don't know if they filmed it all at once or bits of it. They
Maybe, I might be completely wrong.
They probably did reshoots though. I'm sure they did. There's no way they could have filmed it all at once. Otherwise, it would have probably come out a lot quicker because they had to stop for a bit. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
that's
was.
true.
Don't know if that was COVID or it wouldn't be COVID. I guess I don't know if that was.
The writer's strike,
Could be
maybe.
COVID actually. Writer's strike. So they might have shot some new stuff. But yeah, he was really
Yeah,
good.
he was really good.
Like,
Really
much-
unexpected from him.
Yeah, I feel like when he's got to play like a low key, doesn't do much character. Like I guess that's most people. You can't really get much from him. But because he had to like suddenly be this boss, this leader, and he had to have this powerful voice, it seems like Timothy likes to do roles where he's a bit more eccentric or where he's a bit more passionate. Because in Wonka, you could see it. Like he was actually
Yeah.
good.
A bit like a young Johnny Depp in a way.
Yeah,
but
like-
not as
not
powerful,
as crazy. Yeah.
But kind of like a bit. I can see him going down that Johnny Depp
Yeah.
route of doing the quirky.
Yeah, when
stuff.
I think he's more better with quirky or more loud stuff, where he's
Yeah.
got to be a bit more eccentric, and like
Yeah.
how he was at the end of the film. His moments were sick, like when he was leading all the Fremen and telling them, like being a boss. Like you don't, when you look at him, you don't think he could do all that kind of stuff.
No,
But he was like, actually, okay, I can kind of believe him as a leader there. It was actually pretty good.
And it wasn't like one of those things where you think the character's like faking it till they make it. Like you
Yeah.
genuinely believe, like, okay,
Right,
he's got the
yeah.
ability to do this.
Yeah, as soon
You
as
know
he
what I mean?
as soon as he drank that pimp juice, it just came. He just turned to something else. But yeah, that was sick. Man. What did you think of Zendaya as Shani?
We've spoke about this before. She always plays the same characters for me,
Yeah,
and I think she has the ability to do so much better. But she's just kind of there.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like she's just. There's nothing exceptional came from her.
yeah,
But nothing. It wasn't bad either.
wasn't
You weren't
bad
there going,
either.
"Oh my god, this is so bad." It was just.
yeah.
She was just there. When
I've
you
got-
think like Shani should be a standout character, really.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they did that purposely to allow the main character to shine. I don't
yeah.
know.
It's ironic you
But-
say that because I know Denis Villeneuve said this is going to be Zendaya's one. This is Shani's film because people were complaining that she wasn't much in the first one, which it has to be like that because that's the story. But yeah, even in this one, she didn't feel like she was that much of a presence there.
No.
And I had some issues with the way they wrote her character, which we'll get into later. The standouts were just like Timothy Chalamet. I really liked, was it Stilgar,
yeah.
He was really good. He was a lot more funnier in this one than the first film.
Yeah, less
You know,
serious.
less
but it
serious.
didn't feel.
It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel
Yeah.
Marvel. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like he's just going to crack jokes. All the comedic stuff he'd had was like back in the early 2000s films where it was natural. Like,
Not forced. Not okay. We need to break the atmosphere here.
Yeah.
We need to. This is getting too serious.
it felt like it was a natural
Yeah.
progression to his humour. Like the whole Lisan Al Gaib, every little
Oh my god!
every little thing Paul did, he was like Lisan Al Gaib, and he
I
just
know, right? He could take a shit and he'd be outside the bathroom going, "Oh,
Yes,
literally."
and it was just funny the way he did it.
It was funny.
And yeah,
His characters
that's
were good.
that's what I miss. That's how humour should be in film. If it's a serious film, obviously, if it's a comedy film, we do something else. But a serious film like that, where you want to take the character seriously or whatever, like the humour should be natural. You know, not every character needs to be like
funny.
You
Or
know,
have a quirky
or have a
moment,
quirky, yeah. Like, can you imagine if Shani started joking around, Paul started joking around, they all of us started doing little one-liners? It's like, oh god.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I thought, is it going to go that way? But it didn't. Thank God for that.
Loved Jessica as a character.
Yeah, she's really cool. Rebecca Ferguson.
We were saying in the car that she's like black, white, and grey. You know,
Yeah.
like some people are grey, some people are black and white, but she's like, I don't really know why I like her because I don't really know why I don't like her either, but because she's like quite.
Like, you
her
don't really know.
range
Yeah.
is really good.
Like, one minute
you
you're
know?
like, she's like Paul's mum and she's taking care of him, she's protecting him, and she's trying to teach him the Bene Gesserit ways and all that kind of stuff. And you're rooting for her to get him to the point where he can be a leader and everything. And then she's starting to embrace the manipulation of the Fremen and all this kind of stuff. And before she wasn't sure about how the Bene Gesserit would, they're doing their little religious manipulation tactics. But then it gets to the point where she's like, oh, I'm embracing it. I'm going to just like manipulate all these people and get them to get where we have to go and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it almost feels like, oh my god, should I still root for this character?
Yeah,
you know?
you're not sure whether to root for her or not. And I think that's, from what we've seen, I think that's what it's like in the books. You're not sure if you are meant to root for that group of people, you know?
Yeah.
So I think she played that really, really well. I liked her
What do
character.
you think was Austin Butler as that?
Loved
New
him.
Harkonnen? It was really good,
Yeah,
right?
I really loved him as that. He's so good, Austin Butler, and he's really going to be one of those breakout.
Yeah,
you know,
big stars,
yeah.
next generation big stars.
I think so. I really do think so. I was expecting him to speak a little bit like Elvis.
Yeah, because
I was like,
said
he
he
hasn't.
couldn't
You know,
lose
he
the
said
accent.
he tried to
I
lose
could
the
kind
accent.
of hear like a hint of it, you know,
Could you?
but I could hear that he's trying to sound. He sounded a lot like his uncle, the Baron. He sounded like he was trying, which makes so much sense because they're gonna all sound somewhat similar,
Yeah.
right? And I was actually worried about that because I was like, why wouldn't he sound like the Baron? But he did. He sounded like the Baron, and he had that little twinge of, it's like Elvis, it's like an evil Elvis. But it worked. It was really good.
Yeah, no, I thought he was brilliant. And
Yeah.
considering he didn't really have much to say, like he didn't really have that many lines, did he? When you think
No,
about
not
it,
that much.
I mean,
I was wondering
and
why.
he's just like, you just know he's like another Joffrey.
Yeah,
you know?
that kind of crazy
Like he
character.
was
It's
just
like they said he was a
slitting
psychopath.
people's
Yeah,
throats like here, and he'd just turn around and do it just to do it.
Yeah.
You know? There'd be no rhyme or reason.
that's where that could have been really silly, but it still worked. Where he's just killing people for no reason. It could have been like, it makes you not care like that much if he keeps doing it. But it worked for what we saw, and I just feel like that's the only sad part, because if it was like a TV show, there'd probably be some kind of repercussions, or you'd see like how his just mindlessly killing people could affect other characters, but there's no time for that.
Of course.
But you kind of get it anyway.
But you're still worried when he was around, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Who's he going to do? What's he going to do next? Yeah,
yeah.
like, and I think the actors and actresses were supposed to feel like that too, right?
Yeah.
In his presence, they're supposed to feel like, oh, what's he going to do next? Sort of thing. Yeah, no, I loved him as that.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a good antagonist, good evil version, if you can call that.
And I don't know what, he just got an evil looking face. I don't know, that's just his acting, right? He's just got like an evil, I don't know. He's just, I really liked him. I thought he was really good.
I mean,
they were talk about the Emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor and the Princess didn't get that much. I thought there'd be a lot more of them. I was looking forward to seeing more of them. I know they're like the big parts from the books, but yeah, it's a shame. I heard some people talking about Christopher Walken choice as the Emperor, which I get. I was even thinking about when I heard him speak. Like, he was sitting there like a boss, like on his throne, and all the people were below him. The Baron was bowing to him. I was like, oh shit, this is the boss. And then all you hear is, well, you know, that Christopher Walken voice. And I was like, I can pass it. It's alright. I can deal with it. But I get why some people had an issue with it, because he's like, it's Christopher Walken. His voice has become a meme almost, you know. But it didn't bother you. You thought it was
I didn't think about it until I heard people talk about it. But then that's just me being influenced by other people, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Christopher Walken. I know what he sounds like. I know what he's going to
sound
like.
I think it's because I've seen so many people do his impressions.
But now I hear people. Now I've been influenced by other people talking about it. But I don't. When we were in the cinema, it didn't bother me.
But I thought about it when I heard him speak. But it wasn't that bad, maybe because it didn't have that much lines. But it didn't bother me. It didn't take me out of it really that much at all. No. But I like his look. Like, he looked like someone that has been like the Emperor for a long time.
He looked tired. And I don't mean that he looked old. He looked tired.
Yeah, like he's gone through all this shit. But you can see that he's not actually in control that much. You can see the Bene Gesserit, his own daughter. They're the ones like getting in his head and kind of put him in this position where he should have just left the Atreides at home. He should have left them alone. He didn't think Paul was going to come out and fuck him up like this.
I just want to talk about obviously she was in the first one, the Reverend Mother. She's an amazing actress. I've seen her in a couple of things. And it's really hard for an actor or an actress to act stern sometimes. I think that's like quite a hard thing to do, because it can come off like it's not genuine. But she just plays that role so well.
Scary grandma.
I think just the pitch and the tone is just like, I don't know, she's just got that perfect pitch and tone.
And she seems like such a boss as well.
And she's playing chess with her, isn't she? She's like king over there. Yeah,
she's
queen
technically
there.
So far she feels like the main villain, really, because she's making the Emperor do stuff. You know what I mean?
She's literally playing chess with everybody. That's what it feels like. But that actress, oh my god, she didn't really do much, did she? Really, she walks around and she talks, but her pitch and her tone is just it's just on point.
Yeah, brilliant, just brilliant. And because she's so powerful and so strong with her acting, the moment where Paul tells her goes silence, and where Jessica gives her the little dirty look, you're like, yeah, go on, because it's like finally someone's like, putting her in her place, and you're just like, this is
bringing her down
sick. And because of how good she is as a villain, it makes it more cathartic when they do that.
She's a villain, but she's not your typical villain, right?
She's just doing her thing. She's not like one-dimensional. No. Like, you could almost argue that Austin Butler's character is kind of one-dimensional a bit, like just evil almost. But she's got so much shit going on. Like, she's got her own. For all you know, this could be her whole plan. Maybe she's backing Paul. You know, I don't know how the books go or whatever, but maybe she's actually backing Paul in the end, really. But she's doing it in her own fucked up way.
Yeah,
you know?
Maybe she'll come around.
Like, remember what she said to Jessica at the end? She was like, "There are no sides," you know. Like, you don't know what she's really up to, you know. Because there must be a reason why she said in the first film, can you leave Paul and Jessica alive? Why would she want that?
That was strategic. That wasn't out of care. That wasn't like, I care for Jessica. And I care for Paul. But
exactly. It might be. It could be that maybe there's a little care there. We haven't really seen that apart from that one scene.
Yeah.
But it could also be, like I said, strategic, because she wants to actually do something with Paul, bring him up, but she has to put him through a test. She has to let him go through Arrakis and do all that thing. Because if the Baron wanted to, he could have just killed Paul in his sleep, you know, before they got to escape, and Jessica. But maybe she cares for Jessica. I don't know what it is, but yeah, she's very.
Obviously I haven't read the books, but I still have this theory that she's like her mum or her aunt or something.
Yeah, could be that.
I still have this
because we've had this big reveal that the Baron was Jessica's dad, which is like wild, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
that
like
is
that's like Luke Skywalker shit. If you ain't read the books,
Yeah.
like Luke, I am your father shit. You know?
Oh, spoiler review, by the way.
Yeah, definitely spoiler review at this point. What was your favourite scene?
When you asked me this last night, it was really hard to pick. I just found it really hard to pick one. Do you know what I mean? I found it really
Or you
difficult.
could say your top 3 favourite scenes.
As morbid as it sounded, I loved the bit where Austin Butler was in the arena like a gladiator. Obviously, a bit very sadistic, very morbid.
And the lighting,
Yeah.
the black and white lighting.
Yeah, when they made it black and white, I was just like, it's just. I thought it was a stylistic choice, but obviously you said they live under the black moon or something.
Black sun or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think the black sun makes everything look like that. I think that's what I got from it anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I thought it was just a stylistic choice. I thought they were trying to show the contrast between the Fremen and the Harkonnens. That's what I thought anyway.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's definitely stylistic, but I think the black sun is also causing that. It probably, if you were to see it like straight, if it was real life, probably wouldn't be that intense. But they probably made it a bit more intense. The G'day Prime scenes were amazing, you know, because of the black sun and everything. Him fighting the Atreides, the capture. That was Dr. Yue, wasn't it? He was fighting last, wasn't it?
I think so.
But it didn't look like him. Obviously, time has passed.
Yeah. No, time hasn't passed that much because she hasn't even had the baby yet. Jessica hasn't had the daughter yet.
It's been like a few months.
Yeah.
For him to grow a beard, it looks a bit different.
Yeah, that was one of my. It sounds really sadistic and morbid, but that was one of my favourite scenes. I don't know why.
Scene.
I just couldn't.
I did like.
I couldn't stop watching it. You know, when you're like, I can't even blink because I'm going to miss something.
Well, I like that scene because it was nice to see how the Harkonnens are in their world, rather than just them on the ships or whatnot. You know.
And I loved the scene where he rode the worm.
That was incredible.
That
I was
really
getting
cool.
chills. That was like some anime shit. Like, because
oh my god, yeah, it's very anime. Isn't
yeah,
it? That's the sort of like.
I said to Dara, I was like, doesn't Paul remind you of Eren from Attack on Titan a bit? Because he's got that kind of, you know, edgy, angry revenge. Because you know the whole story of Attack on Titan, he wants to avenge his mum. You know,
Carla.
Yeah, his mum Carla, and obviously Paul's trying to avenge his dad, Leto. You know,
But he wasn't for a long time.
he didn't really dwell on it much, but that was his main goal. Like, remember his mum even said your father didn't believe in revenge, and he was like, yeah, but I do. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so he just didn't go on about it. He just did what he had to do. I think I know what you're trying to say. He's like, he changed his mind when he met the Fremen.
Yeah.
But then when he drank the drink and saw the future, it was like, I'm back on it now. I'm back on, you know, I'm back on fucking them up.
My only criticism with that scene is it reminded me of Game of Thrones when you're watching the battle and you couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah, you didn't like.
There was so much dust. And
this
so
is where I
much,
might disagree with you.
That's true. Like, obviously that would happen. I'm not saying that would happen. But for me, I was kind of like, what is he actually doing? Like,
I feel you,
do you know what I mean?
I get what you said, because I was like, what? I can't see. But then I thought in my head, that makes it more scary, because you don't know what the fuck, what I could die.
But I want to see what he's
how he do it,
you know what I mean? Like, the whole point is they're trying to show you this guy rode a worm.
Yeah, I got it to the point where he hooked onto one of the worm's scales or something. When he got the first hook on, I was like, okay, now I can sort of see what he's doing. Then he threw the other thing and he caught it, and I was like, that's when it started to get sick for me. And even before that, before we got to the whole build up of it, the way it was shot, like, there was like, had the skyline, and then you had like the sand dunes, and he was walking, and you had everyone watching him. There was dead silence, no music, and then he puts the thumper in the ground, and we hear his boom, boom. And it's just like you're anticipating what the fuck is, and then the massive worms come in, and then Stilgar's like,
not that big.
Yeah, not that big. And you're just like, what the fuck's going on? I can see what you mean. Like, when you get all that build up, you want to see how he's going to do it. You know?
You've really built me up here. Now show me this amazing thing.
How's he going to do? But then it just kind of just went all shaky. Click on the scale. I get what you're saying.
Which is true. Like, but obviously that's true. That's just what happened.
But you want to know what was going on in Paul's head. How did he figure out when to do it? You know, because anybody could be trying to do that, and they'll just be like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I feel you.
That's all it was for me.
But once
it was still one of my favorites.
It's still epic, because once you start, like, the worms are so big that the fact that you control, I don't know how they're controlling it, but the fact that he's got the thing, and then everyone's cheering, it's just epic. And then obviously Charlie's hating, like, even Charlie's mate that thought he was a twat, remember? And she was defending Paul. Charlie was defending Paul. From their friend, but even she started cheering for him, didn't she? But China was just like, oh no, they're cheering a bit too hard here. I get it though, because she's worried about them being all manipulated, isn't it?
So that's one scene, two scene. My third favorite scene.
That's my second favourite scene, I think. And I guess my third favourite scene is probably the Galo Prime scene with Austin Butler, I'll just say. And my first favourite scene, I guess this is a couple scenes together, is the ending, basically, where he gets, like, he attacks the Emperor's, like, I don't know, spot that he's got with the Baron and that, with the Atreides rockets or whatnot, and then they all come in on the worms, and you can see the desert power that Leto was talking about in the first film, and they're just coming on the worms, and they're just taking out all the, like, Sokka fighters and stuff, and he just mullers them. And I think it was Ben Shapiro's review where he was saying that, oh, it happened too fast, happened too quickly, there was no, like, big struggle in the battle. But I was just like, we just watched like 2 hours of them, so much different stuff happening. At that point, you've seen the build up, you've seen the training, you've seen everything they want to do to get to the point they are to stop the Emperor, and they're on Fremen territory at that point. So I believe it that they would just take them out like that, with these giant worms, that the Sokka, the Emperor, and the Harkonnen don't know how to fight. You know, they're out of their depth at this point. So it's really believable that Paul could just come in and wipe them out. These giant worms, the giant worms with everything, you know. And that bit was so epic because these people have been oppressed and they've just been sitting there for so long, getting done in by the Harkonnen for 80 years or whatnot, and now they're finally getting their own back, and it's just all epic. And the music, how it's shot, everything just works together, and that's what makes this film so damn sick.
He's a very good director, isn't he?
Yeah, it's so good.
What films he directed?
Blade Runner 2049. But you liked that film. I remember you liked it. You just don't remember. You're thinking of the first one.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, you like Blade Runner, the second one, but you weren't really into the story. But because it was so epic, you liked those parts, didn't you? Like,
what other films?
The Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. Really good film.
Such an underrated film.
Arrival, but I haven't seen Arrival. I need to see that.
No, I haven't seen it either.
But yeah, he's obviously the first Dune. He's a really good director, and he's a fan of Dune, so it explains why he did so fucking good with it, you know.
I think that makes all the difference, right?
Yeah.
If you cast someone that's a fan,
they're
going to love it, so they're going to want to do it as much justice as they can.
Yeah.
You know, even though they fired Henry Cavill in The Witcher, and he was a fan, and he wanted to go in the direction of the books.
But everyone else didn't, so they just ruined it instead. I don't get why Hollywood decides not to hire people that know the source material or are fans, because when they do that, that's when they shine. Look at Dune as an example.
It's absolutely shone.
Yeah.
Even for someone like me that hates this kind of stuff, watching this kind of stuff. You know, like literally only just watched Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
like for the first time.
For the first time ever, yeah. Literally, I hate this kind of. Although Lord of the Rings is fantasy, but to make something like that shine and make people like me love the films, that is like a top director, right?
Yeah, he's really good.
To make you fall in love with something that you don't even appreciate,
the genre you don't even like. Yeah. It was really good. That whole scene, and obviously when he comes in, just walking in with, he's all like dirty with all the flipping sand on him. He just walks in, takes control of the whole room, and that.
They're always quite clean, aren't they?
Yes.
Considering like they're in the desert, they're always look quite clean. I know that's like a.
I mean, there's no mud really, and there's no water to make the sand all muddy and stuff like that. I know,
but you'd be like dusty.
Yeah, you know, it was quite dusty when he walked in the room.
And your skin would be dry AF.
Yeah, they don't show them getting dry much and everything. They're always Hollywood stuff, innit?
Obviously, his beautiful face. It's always so like beautiful, but it should be like a bit dusty and a bit
fresh.
Like, do you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's just me being an idiot.
Oh, there's lots of nitpicks you could nitpick. But speaking of that, let's talk about anything you didn't really like.
Not really, you know.
It was almost 10 out of 10.
I will never give a film 10 out of 10.
you give films that you love to death 5 out of 10.
6 at least. 6. I would never give it 10 out of 10. But was there things I didn't like? Not really, you know.
Shawnee.
The only thing I didn't like is it was quite long, but it doesn't feel long. And I said that with the first film as well. Like, when it finished, I was like, we've only been watching this for like 20 minutes. What the hell is going on? Obviously, it'd been like 2.5 hours. They're long films, but they feel really short. I don't know. I don't really know what I didn't like about it.
Shawnee, right? You didn't like Zendaya's character much? Or...
But was that because it was being played by Zendaya and she always has those... It's the same role, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that is still a thing you don't like, right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike her character. I just
she was there.
I just don't think she did much to not support literally, figuratively, to support Paul. Their chemistry was really good. They have really good chemistry, I guess, together. Oh, I'll tell you one thing I didn't like, and this is like nitpicking. Sometimes they didn't make their eyes blue.
Yeah.
So like
there might be a story reason for that.
Yeah, they would have these like stunning blue eyes, and then when it was like a shot where it's dark, they wouldn't bother to do anything with the eyes. So you could see that Zendaya's eyes were brown. And I was like, well, maybe because it was at night, I don't know. But that's nitpicky, right?
Yeah, but it's not nitpicky if it's meant to be blue all the time. There's two reasons I could say for that. One, it might be because of lighting in certain areas. Their eyes just aren't, maybe they're blue, but they just aren't as shiny as you'd think they would be. And then, yeah, it's just lighting, basically. Like, your eyes look different in different lighting all the time. Right now, they look grey in this lighting, but in a different lighting, they might look green, you know?
Yeah, but they make a point of their eyes. Their eyes are being,
really, like,
chemically changed, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like a...
It's not just like a normal eye.
Yeah,
I
it's not like a normal iris reacting to light. I don't know.
And then the second reason is maybe they're just depicting certain times where they haven't had enough, they haven't been exposed to spice in certain areas, and their eyes haven't been eaten, or maybe they need to eat certain things with spice in it, and then suddenly their eyes will be more blue that day, or I don't know. That's how my headcanon sees it. But yeah, I don't know why that is. I know it's,
but that's nitpicky, right? Yeah, if you're saying, what didn't you like about this film? I don't like that their eyes won't glow sometimes. It's a nitpicky thing.
This is the thing. I wouldn't say I didn't like this. It's more like a criticism of other people's criticism. Not even a criticism, just like my thoughts on other people's criticisms that I've seen. I've watched a bunch of reviews and people that are big fans of Dune and the books, especially the books, because of Shani's change. Because apparently Shani's quite different from how she's depicted in the books.
She's more submissive in the book.
She's more submissive. Well, I don't know. We don't know because I haven't read it. But according to what other people have said,
I'm about to.
Yeah, you ordered the flipping books now. But Shani is, let's just call it, supportive of Paul in his journey to become emperor or whatever. And he obviously is gonna marry the I keep saying empress, but the princess. Let's just call her princess.
We'll call her princess.
Yeah. So he's gonna marry the princess for political reasons, and Shani's like all being stroppy about it. Rightfully so. She's in love with Paul, and now he's going to marry his other woman. But like, I've seen people argue there's a bigger picture here, and she should understand, and that she should be more grown up about it, and all this kind of stuff. It's not that he's going to start banging her. Well, we don't know. They didn't really play on what Paul's going to behave like with her. But yeah, she's not happy about it. She has a massive strop, and she walks out, and she gets a Sandwoman. It almost feels like she's going off on her own. I'm like, look, Shani, are you going to survive out there on your own?
Yeah, they did make it look like she was going to start a revolution.
Yeah, like, we don't really know.
I'm going to go and do this on my own, you know?
Yeah, so a lot of people were like having some critique about that because she's more supportive in the books.
But
that seems like a big change.
Can you argue that and say that's a problem if you never knew anything about the books?
No.
You can't, can you?
No, if you don't know nothing about the books.
You have to be an avid fan and an avid
these are going to be like book people that will hate this scene, apparently, depending on how the character is. And some people that haven't even seen the books may just think, oh, of course Zendaya's going to play a stroppy, mean, mushy-faced character again. But my thing is, let's think about it this way. Let's say, how do we know she's not going to be supportive in the next film, right? I think Chani could be... What they might do is, she's obviously not happy about the situation. They've definitely shown that with her actions at the end of this film. But it doesn't mean she's not going to come back and, regardless of how she feels about it, still support Paul. Like, look, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to be here to make sure you don't go too far or something.
Keep you on track,
I'm going to keep you in check. I'm going to support you, but I'm not going to take no shit either. It could be like that kind of... I wouldn't mind that. That would be so much... To me, that's more interesting if they play it that way, where they still... staying true to the beats of the book, but they're also having Shani be a little bit more independent, a little bit more her own character that isn't just going to just follow Paul like a little lost rabbit.
More autonomy.
Yeah, that's the one. They're giving her more autonomy, and that could be more interesting, and it will still stick to the beats of the book because she's still supporting Paul, and there'll be some conflict there that they could add as well to make it more interesting. And I'm sure that probably is in the book. There's no way Shani was just following him and doing nothing in the book, like just being a breeder.
She's got to have her own character.
Yeah, so
right? She's got to have her own thoughts and feelings.
So they could go that way. So I'm fine with how it ended as long as they go that way. You know, but if they make it Shani decide it's all about Shani now. She creates her own Fremen group and she goes against Paul, and Paul's just the main villain now. They just go completely not on the books.
What if that happens in the books though?
Well, it could happen, but apparently from what people are saying, it doesn't seem like it does. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm basing it on, because people are so pissed with how unhappy she is. In my opinion, what they could have done is she still has a squishy, angry face, but you know, when they're all kneeling, Lisan al-Gaib and all that, when he makes the emperor kiss his hand or whatnot, then she kneels last, but she's still pissed off to show that she's not happy about what's happening here, but she's going to support him anyway. That was probably could have been how it ended, because I think a lot of people interpreted her going on the worm and going off and walking out of the room and all that disrespectfully. People interpreted that as, oh, she's going to go off and do her own
That's
thing.
how I saw it, yeah. She's going to go off and create her own.
But it might just be over dramatic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. So I'm still open-minded about the Shani character. I'm actually more interested in her being more of like a foil to Paul, and like she's helping him, but she's also like not going to let him go off and be completely lunatic. You know, she's going to be like the angel on his shoulder, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that could be really interesting. That was just one thing I had to say about it. So even that, I'm not sure I hate it yet. Depends how the third film's going to be. Then I'll go back and I'll hate her character.
They even signed up for a third film.
Apparently there's talks that there's going to be a third one for sure, apparently, which will be called Dune Messiah, I wonder. They should just call it Dune Messiah. Dune 3, because it's part 2 of Dune. It's called Dune Part 2.
3?
Could be Dune Part 3, but then you want to know what... Yeah, I guess it will either works to call it Dune Messiah or Dune Part 3. You could call it that. Anything else?
There was something I was going to say and I forgot what I was going to say.
How badass the Bene Gesserit are?
Yes, I
That's
guess.
how you do female characters?
Yes.
Just say that, don't say much more. Like Hollywood, we like female characters. Make them like the Bene Gesserit. Make them like Jessica. The princess, she was cool too, you know? She wasn't like just a timid princess. Apparently she's a bit more timid in the books, the princess. Right. She doesn't really do much. So they've made her a bit more autonomy.
Yeah.
Like in this film, and she's more like helping her dad out. But she's not in a way like saying, oh dad, you're so stupid, oh dad, you're so dumb. She's not putting him down.
Yeah.
She's just guiding him. She helps him. She gives him advice. Sometimes there's something she doesn't even know herself. And that's how you do it, you know? They're not annoying like saying, you're a dickhead, you're a loser. Even Shani, she wasn't really like making Paul like a dick or anything. She just didn't like certain things he did. And that was it, you know?
Which is what happens in real life.
Yeah.
It's true to real people.
Yeah, it's true to real people. She wasn't like putting him down or saying you're a loser. Or there wasn't scenes where Paul gets beaten up and then Shani has to come in and save him every time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. And that's how it should be. These are good female characters. They're interesting.
I think that one thing they should have shown in the film, if we're talking about stuff we didn't like, I would have really liked to have seen Austin Butler's character do the hand in the box.
Oh yeah,
I would really have loved to have seen that, because I thought that would have shown us even more how fucked up he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it really would have thrown home, like you knew anyway.
Yeah.
But it really would have just like put that final nail in the coffin of like, this is what this person's
final
like. Look how happy he is. Yeah. Look how happy he is. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that would have been, maybe they did do that scene and cut it out. Like maybe there'll be a director's cut or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I would just really wish we'd seen that scene rather than just the hearsay about
because
it.
Because it's been established that the Gom Jabbar test, if you're an animal, you're going to pull your hand out and get killed by the Gom Jabbar. You're just going to do the first impulsive thing you can do to get away from the pain. And the Harkonnen are known for just being impulsive, just do whatever they feel kind of people with no discipline whatsoever.
Yeah. So
the Gom Jabbar test on a Harkonnen that passes it will be so interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
and I would love to have seen that.
Yeah.
It would have given him a little bit more dimension, I guess. Like
100%.
This guy isn't doing it because he's an animal. He's doing it because he loves it.
He loves the pain. He's like another level of crazy. Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen
we should have seen that rather than just a word saying, "Oh, he passed the test. He loves pain." That's all we heard, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know if it was like the filter in or whatever. I don't know how they did it, but when they were in the desert, you felt really warm.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like hot.
I noticed in
Does
the.
Does that sound really stupid?
No, that's good. That's how it should feel. I saw someone's comment that said when they see the desert scenes in Dune, it makes them feel super thirsty.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah, part of that cinematography.
Yeah,
it's working.
I think it's just obviously the way it was shot, and I loved how important water is to them.
Yeah,
like you don't cry because it's wasting water, and you don't vomit even though you've got terrible morning sickness.
Yeah,
like
I
love
water.
like how. You know,
like, all that little world building culture stuff is really cool.
I thought that was really cool. Really clever, like subtle ways of just throwing it in there. Like, this is our life. This is how we live.
I'll give this like a 9.8 out of 10.
Wow.
That's a,
Really?
Yeah, like 9.8. So we have a lot of things
Wow.
8s and 9s, but 9.8. Like,
You really loved it though, didn't
Yeah,
you? Like
'cause-
it gave you the feeling that the first film gave me.
yeah, I guess.
Whereas I
so.
didn't have that same feeling again. I'm not sure why.
It had such an intricate plot as well as the amazing visuals, which I felt the first film. It had plot, but it was like, in terms of the character development, the first film was very fast paced. Like, it was just moving to the next character, and then one minute they've like arrived on Arrakis, and then there's like loads of scenes of like just looking at the beauty of Arrakis, and then all of a sudden.
But don't you think
they're
that's
getting-
amazing that they did a setup film to set up for the main film?
Now that they've made it all, now that both films are out, when you watch it together, it's just probably just a fantastic, crazy
Yeah.
experience.
But I'll always be secretly hoping that the dad comes back.
Who knows?
Deep down inside,
Who
I'll always
knows?
be secretly hoping, because he was
Well-
like my favourite character from the last film.
According to book
devastated
readers,
when he
according to
died.
book readers, the future books are absolutely insane. So who knows what they could do?
Does the dad come back?
I don't know if he comes back or not, but all I know is that there's some mad stuff that happens that are like very different to what we've seen so far. So who knows what kind of powers or crazy stuff they could do to bring people back? Who knows? Fingers crossed.
I'm
But
sure
yeah,
the Bene Gesserit could do that.
probably at this point.
I'm always rooting for the dad to come back because
Yeah.
I really loved him in the first one and I was so
Yeah.
sad when he died.
Yeah, it's
He was
good.
like the Oberyn Martell.
He was the
of
Ned
Dune.
Stark, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh,
anyway,
when
let's
he-
wrap up now. Cause
I don't want to. I want to talk about Dune forever.
I know, we could talk about it forever and ever and ever.
I think since we watched it last night, it's been 90% of our conversation.
Literally. Mm.
And I went and bought the book.
Yeah. Which we thank Alt Shift X for that, because we
Alt
watched his
Shift X, yeah.
we watched his video. That might be one of the reasons why I love the film so much, because of his video, because
It
it's almost
definitely
like it's almost like doing some pre-reading before the big test.
Yeah.
Because it's like it lets you know all these little intricate things.
Why don't you put the link in the description?
Yeah, I'll definitely put Alt Shift X video called The Real Dune, and it just definitely builds up everything, like all the intricate details that you might have missed from the books, and that you just know more and feel the world more like than other people.
Oh,
might
actually,
see.
sorry. I know I always do this when we're about to wrap up. But one thing that I didn't like, and this is just because we watched that guy's video, spices, like, they really didn't, for me, they didn't hammer home how important it was. Like, they're all fighting, but what are they fighting over?
Yeah.
Spice. And I wish we could have seen a little
What
bit
it
more
does.
about how important it was.
Yeah, it enhances all their minds. The Bene
Yeah.
Gesserit use it, the Mentants and the Space Guild and all them lot. We really know about that because of that video. Denis Villeneuve actually said this. He really wanted to go through all the crazy, super smart mind psychic people, you know, which is the Mentants and the Space Guild. But he chose to focus on the Bene Gesserit. Remember that guy, that the chubby guy that does his weird eye
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
He just disappears. We don't know where he went.
Yeah, but did he die? Are we just supposed to assume he died?
Apparently he had some scenes that were deleted, I heard. Yeah. So he must be alive. He could be alive still. But anyway, yeah, amazing film. I loved it.
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. That's really high for you, actually.
That is really high. That means I loved it.
That means you loved it.
That means I
You're going to go see it again and go and watch it with subtitles so you can hear everything they're saying.
Oh yeah, sometimes I couldn't understand what they were saying, or I had to think, are they speaking English or are they speaking their own language? Because I was struggling to hear what was being said.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our review. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, please give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.
Peace up. 8 times.